while you think about it. Hello, everyone. I'm Nando, and that's DJ, and this is DIggins. DIggins is thinking, so I didn't want to interrupt him. We're about to start a show that we do, so we're the hosts of Mad Bracket Sets, obviously. We also do a show called After the Thrones, and this is going to be that, so where we talk about everyone's favorite TV show, After the Thrones, on HBO. Go pretty much exclusively.
You could say After the Thrones new time slot, because we can mention that in the show. They're in a new time slot now.
They're in a new time slot?
Now they're 1 a.m. Eastern, not 4 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, you can
that's an improvement.
say After the Thrones slightly earlier.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I like that.
It's not bad. I can do that one.
Or you can make it a little longer, like slightly earlier, but still too late to stay out for. Like,
or no, After the Thrones only meant for the West Coast.
or do After the Thrones. DJ didn't watch it again.
That's fair.
That's a good one.
That's pretty good.
No, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, I'll take it instead of the horror. So then I'll take the earlier time slot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So.
Mallory Rubin, unable to separate television from real life.
After the Thrones new time slot.
DJ didn't watch again.
This is After the Thrones.
While that music is playing, while that theoretical music is playing, how'd you like watching that 2 minutes of workshopping stream?
We got it.
You like that?
We nailed it. All right, so we're gonna start the actual show now. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Kelly.
And I'm DJ Chapman.
And I'm not even here.
That's right, he's not.
One day we'll find out who this stranger is.
If he was, it would be Chris DIggins. And we are the hosts of Mad Bracket Status, but also we are the hosts of our favorite new podcast, After the Thrones, where we talk about the show everyone's talking about, the hot ticket on TV right now. Andy Greenwald and Chris Ryan, After the Thrones.
Well, I gotta say, Nando, that actually isn't totally false now, because, as I mentioned in the open, After the Thrones is a new time slot. It's 10 p.m. Pacific.
Listen.
Shut up. Which is right...
DJ, the shame bell. Get the
God
shame
damn
bell
it.
ready.
Fine, get the shame bell. Okay, great.
Alright.
10 p.m. Pacific, which is right after the West Coast premiere of Game of Thrones.
Wow.
So Game of Thrones rolls right into After the Thrones. It's still 1 a.m. Eastern, so if you're on the East Coast, like all of the real people, you don't watch it, because people on the West Coast don't watch TV. They're out trying to find water, which they desperately can't find.
that internet.
Yeah.
California way.
So, but yeah, an improvement, right?
So you're saying we have to move to the West Coast, skip Silicon Valley and all that stuff, and just watch After the Thrones.
Yes.
And then watch After the Thrones 7 or 8 days later.
You can listen to After the Thrones whenever you want, provided that it's almost the next episode.
That is right. So, what do we do on this show? We take you through what actually happened on After the Thrones. Sometimes tangentially, we talk about what happened on Game of Thrones, the show that After the Thrones is based on. And we talk about the show within the scope of how they talk about it.
It's the spin-off of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Frasier to Game of Thrones is Cheers. And like Frasier, it's going to win more Emmys than Game of Thrones. So they need to have an Emmy category now for reaction shows.
They really do.
There's so many
going to be a
of them.
thing.
Talking bad, talking
Best
bad. Talking vinyl, I'm sure. Or After the Vinyl.
Is that
After
real?
the Beep.
Not
yet.
Callers, which would be After Ballers.
Yep.
I really want them to do, because they're like pushing vinyl real hard, or they were at least for a while there.
Before I hated it.
I really want some network, doesn't have to be HBO, to make a talking or whatever show after a new show, assuming the audience will be there for it. Oh, I need that hubris.
How about see you later, Mr. Robot, or something like that?
No, but Mr. Robot's already one season
one of my
in.
favorite
We
shows.
need something that is just start, like literally pilot episode. They play in the reaction show afterwards.
So okay, there's the there's the new show. I think it's on USA about the female drug lords. It's about the wife of
Pablo
God.
Escobar?
Yes, thank you.
What's it called? Baristas? Because that's a pretty good title for it.
I've heard of this. I know what you're talking about.
Wife
Medellin.
show. It is called not El Patron del Mal.
That's a 2012 TV miniseries. series, which I definitely knew off the top of my head.
What other shows are coming out? I honestly can't think of any. What's that show that NBC's doing? Powerless?
Okay,
That was
yeah.
Which
kinda
one's that?
good. It's like their fake DC Universe insurance show. It's like Damage Control, but in the DC Universe. With just cheeky references to heroes and Red Viper, a hero, I don't know who it is.
Is it Pablo Escobar's wife? I'm just going to do female drug lord show.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think it's Pablo Escobar, actually.
Well,
Queen of the South. Queen of the South. And it's not Pablo Escobar's wife. It's Alice Braga.
Okay.
Whatever.
She's not on Game of Thrones. But you know who is on Game of Thrones? Hodor. And this week, they started the episode with talking about how Hodor won the week.
Did something happen with Hodor this episode?
No.
I haven't been
He's
reading
still
every
living.
news website that has ever existed, so I'm not familiar with what
Let's
happened.
talk about reaction to that episode. I saw a lot of Hodor sad face Facebook posts like a minute after the episode aired. Like, guys, if you like Game of Thrones, cool it on that shit.
Yeah,
I watch live, but not everyone does.
Yeah, I was away from home that weekend, so I didn't watch it till the next day, and I had a strong inkling about what had happened.
The rule is you just can't get on the internet.
That really is the
you
rule.
can't be on the
That's what I did
internet.
with Flash this
No,
week.
no,
and
I'm
I
not
still got
like
spoiled.
upset about it. I'm
Right.
just saying it happened.
No, I think maybe people should be a little less spoily with their things. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
Oh no, I understand that part. I mean, I saw a bunch of Hodor crying Jordan memes.
Yes.
'Cause
So
that's just everywhere now.
So after the Thrones said Hodor won the week.
No.
That is their first segment. Let's try to qualify what that means. What does won the week mean? Because I have a guess on what they think it means, but I don't think that's what I thought it meant up until now.
Well, what do you think it means?
I think it means who did they remember most from the episode? Who didn't they forget
I
about
was about
because
to
they
say-
have goldfish brains?
Who did we not forget?
Yeah.
Diggins, what does won the week mean to you?
Yeah.
Oh, to me, I guess it just always meant like, who's the person who did like the biggest, like coolest thing,
Right.
or the most important thing, or just like in some way made a big impact this week.
DJ, same
Yeah.
for you? Or
So
some version?
mine is someone who is not to completely use the little finger chaos as a ladder theory, but if you would like to think of it as a projection, somewhere who got higher than they were.
Yes.
Like they were at a lower point and they got to a higher point. So by definition, if you die, I don't think you can win the week.
Especially if you also become mentally challenged. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, shit on twice in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
It really doesn't get worse than that.
even though you know the story of what happens to Willis, but still. So, Nando, who did you think won the week?
So I think it's the character that they talked about the least on the show, but I think is going to have the greatest impact going forward, Euron Greyjoy.
Okay.
I think, bar none, he took a place that has not been relevant since that one time Rob kind of told Theon to go there in season 2, really, because, I mean, they did other stuff, but they've never mattered in the grand scheme of things, and elevated them to, like, the thing that's going to win the throne for Daenerys, possibly. Also, he became king of a place that he wasn't even in a week ago. And he admitted to murdering the king, which this season nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
But in general, that's something that's, he got away with it. And yeah, he did really well. So I think Euron Greyjoy won the week. There's other people, like maybe Littlefinger, I'd buy that too, because he got out of a real sticky situation. But I think Euron won. What do you guys?
Diggins, I'll pass to you. Or I'll go if you need a
Or you'll
minute.
go.
Sure. I thought that Jorah won the week.
Really?
So the reason I say Jorah, I know he has the grayscale, and I know that like he's totes like kind of knocking on death's door, but in terms of his own journey, he was able to make peace with Daenerys, and I think for them that's huge. And honestly, I think that it's crazy that he told Daenerys that he loved her. I think it's a big step for him.
Sure.
So I think like if this were the finality of his entire character arc, I think it would be a good story for him.
Right.
So that's why I think Jorah won the week.
Diggins? Anybody for you?
Well, so first of all, I guess I know the answer to this from the both of you, considering your answers to who won the week.
Yeah.
But can you win the week if you're a Grosso?
Is Euron a Grosso?
You're just a big gross. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Littlefinger. Well, Euron is a Grosso.
I think Euron, as of now, his only kind of... I don't know what you consider Grosso means, but I think he's only kind of made himself out to be like a scumbag, but at least he's successful. I think winning the week is just about success.
All right, I'll grant you that Euron has not yet established himself as a Grosso.
I'm sure he will be.
I was thinking of Littlefinger because I'm very tired.
Yeah, well, Littlefinger is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I think that he took a situation that was supposed to kill him, and he had a room with him, Brienne, and Sansa, where Brienne and Sansa had every reason to kill him, and he made it out of that room alive, and probably tricked Sansa into, killing Brienne in the process.
I actually don't think he tricked Sansa. If we were to take a side tangent and talk about that scene a little bit.
We'll talk about it later, but who do you think won the week?
Well...
I have an answer for you.
Based on what I said about having the biggest impact...
Yep.
I mean, I think you're probably right about Euron having the biggest impact.
Do you want another one?
Sure. Oh, Kivarna.
Yeah, I think she might have won the week.
Really?
She basically destroyed Varys, took over this... she did what the High Sparrow did a season ago, and look where the High Sparrow is now. If she's slightly more effective than him, she could take over that city.
Well, the High Sparrow's about to die.
We'll see.
We all know that.
We'll see. Die. But that's the thing. That's not his goal is to take over the city. He doesn't give a fuck if he dies. I think her goal is similar, even though I think she has more of an interest in saving herself. But I think you can make the case that she also won the week.
Okay.
She bested Varys, which no one so far has actually been able to do, besides that wizard from childhood.
Okay.
So, do you agree, Diggins?
I think that's a good reasoning.
Nailed it. All right, I have a new segment we're getting to. I think we can all agree on this one. Who lost the week? Oh yeah, I've been doing these sword draw sound effects. All right, let's try it again. I have a new segment we can do. I think we can all agree on this one. Who lost the week? We'll time that better.
That was a long one.
Yeah, it was. It's the loudest one I could find. So, do we all agree one character lost the week for everyone? We'll say it on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Jorah.
No.
Okay. Obviously it was Bran. Bran lost the week. Bran got several main characters killed and lost his only teacher in White Walkerville.
Yeah, it's Bran.
It was just a mess. It was a nightmare.
I was going for the joke.
Who was yours, Diggins?
I said Jon Snow, which was a joke. You're right.
Yeah, I know it was
Bran.
It was Bran. Bran fucking lost the week, man. What a dumbass. What a jabroni. What world do you have to be in? You have a magical, Gandalf-y dude who just tells you not to do one thing, and you fucking do it.
To be fair, you think he could have said, instead of just being don't use the tree without me, just been by the way, the White Walkers can see you, so, stay away.
Yeah, I was about to say, because, so Bran's well, they can't get to us because the door's well, they've touched you, now they can get to us. What the fuck, dude? Set the ground rules. Alright, Bran, don't use the tree without me. But also, if you do, the White Walkers can see you, and they can touch you, and they can come in here, and they can murder us all. So, for sure, don't do it without me.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I also think this could transition us into one of our other segments. Theories we can actually talk about because we aren't governed by HBO yet, which is a classic,
it's
classic
fan favorite.
Classic thing that we do. It's based on the idea that on After the Thrones, they have to skirt around specific things that are very obvious. For the purpose of not upsetting HBO, they're masters and overlords. So the theory, and I don't even think this is a theory, I think this is a fact, but I think it's been brought up a lot now, is that Bran will eventually time travel and become the Three-Eyed Raven, right? Do you guys not buy that one? Okay, so when he meets Jojen Reed, he says, I'm going to find the Three-Eyed Raven, and Jojen Reed says, you are the Three-Eyed Raven. So that's a big hint. But also, when he starts doing Three-Eyed Raven stuff, he's like, why do I have to do this? And Three-Eyed Raven's like, because you have to become me, right? So if we're buying into this circular time travel logic, the reason that the Three-Eyed Raven didn't tell him that is because he knew it had to happen that way for some stupid time travel reason.
So the problem with that is that we know who the person the Three-Eyed Raven is.
Oh, do we?
Like, we know it's Brendan Rivers.
Oh.
Lord Bloodraven.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem plausible. I think all that means that you have to become, like, today's version of the Three-Eyed Raven.
That's
like,
possible.
Brendan Rivers is a person, so I don't think it's feasible that Bran can go back in time and, like, become Brendan Rivers.
Interesting.
Now, to be fair, in the show, there's no hint whatsoever about who the Three-Eyed Raven is.
Fair enough.
Like, the Lord Bloodraven stuff is entirely in the books, and in fact, they removed one of the biggest things that would indicate that he is Lord Bloodraven in the show.
Which is that?
Which is that in the show, he has both of his eyes.
Oh, shit, you're right.
In the books, he's missing one eye.
Ah. Classic Lord Bloodraven, if I've ever heard it.
Well, it's an identifying feature of Lord Bloodraven.
Oh, one-eyed Bloodraven.
Yeah, he watches you with 1,000 eyes in one. A line that they keep in the show, even though it no longer makes sense.
Well, 1,000 eyes in one, which, you know, it's pretty good. It's better than 1,000 eyes. I don't know. That's
I don't know, because, like, the time travel that Bran is doing is not physical time travel, it's just mental time travel, and he can affect it, but, like, that's still a big leap to then be like, oh, he's actually physically transported himself back in time.
What if he's going to learn how to warg into the past and warg into Lord Bloodraven, and that's what's going to turn him into Bran? Like, that's what he means. I'm not saying I've thought about this before, but I think that would work. I don't completely buy into this theory. I have a better one that we're going to talk about later.
I think one thing that After the Thrones did that maybe it shouldn't have done, but it went too many leaps with what the quote-unquote time travel is. Because it's not straight-up time travel. There are distinct limitations. So let's go through some. One, you need to be near a weirwood tree.
Sure.
If there's an area where there's no weirwood tree, you can't time, quote-unquote, go back to that area.
Let's say that's your time machine. So that's not uncommon in time travel, other than, like, Days of Future Past and Time Traveler's Wife and bad time travel.
Well, he's not just saying that you need to be near a weirwood tree to do it. You need to have a weirwood tree near where you want to go, and you cannot leave that.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. So, like, if there's no weirwood tree, I don't know, let's just say, like, in the dungeons of King's Landing, like, he couldn't go back to his dad at his last moments. That's not a thing he would be able to see.
Right. So other reasons this isn't time travel? Because there's a couple,
okay, well, so he really can only see the events of the past. And yeah, he could, like, say, like, father and, like, you know, it'll hear him, but, like, I don't think it gets to the point where, like, could he go somewhere and it's like, don't kill that guy? Like maybe that's a possible thing he could do, but I don't know how much he could influence. Like, the past is the past.
Yeah,
sure.
And that's something that I'm going to be interested to see, because, like, he's definitely going to try to do something. Like, obviously, why even bring up this power if he's not going to try to use it? But at the same time, like, the way that he found out about it very clearly demonstrated that, like, you can't change anything. Anything you try to do is going to be something that you already did.
Right.
And already affects the world. So, like, is he, like, logically he should think about this and be like, well, what I did just made the thing that's already happened happen, so I can't change anything, so why should I even bother?
Right. Yes. It's like he couldn't go back and kill Hitler.
Determinist time travel, or something along those lines. That everything that's going to happen has already been laid out. But doesn't this... So he's kind of like, he can time travel, but when he time travels, he's Patrick Swayze in Ghost. He can move around, no one can see him, he can kind of influence objects, and he can possess people.
So can he possess people back in time?
Was that what the Hodor warging was?
Well,
kind of.
He warged into Hodor in the present.
Right.
So I think that's another thing where it's like you would need the physical body. Like, he couldn't go back in time and warg into Ned.
Right.
He was only able to do the Hodor thing because Hodor was near him in the present.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Hey, we don't know, but maybe safe assumption. Anything's possible.
I have a point of order, actually, based off that point.
Are you going to shame us? Hold on,
No shame.
You could.
Shame.
Always ready for shame.
It's just something I want to bring up. So they're in the courtyard in the past where young Hodor is, while the Three-Eyed Raven's downloading all his knowledge into Bran, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Why are they there?
Why are they there?
Determine his time travel. He knows he has to be there.
You mean why that's
Yeah, but you're assuming that the thing where the Three-Eyed Raven is true. If that is not true, why are they there?
If it's not true, it's because I don't know.
a lot of questions.
That's why I think it's that, honestly, is because it's too convenient. Like, that's why I think that theory
he has
holds
to
up.
be...
That the Three-Eyed Raven knows that's how it has to go, and that's why he's doing it. Because the, what was the other thing that Three-Eyed Raven did? Maybe it wasn't this week, but one of the times he time traveled, didn't he say something along the lines of, like, this is how it has to go? Like, this is how it's written. In a way that, like, would assume he's been there before. Although you can green see the future, or whatever the rules of that are. Right, of course that's what he's doing. But, like, so, I don't know. I mean, the rules are so flexible, I can't guarantee it. I can't postulate what it is yet. However, based off what we had said in the past, do you think Bran, working in a Hodor and the way he's trying to now influence the past, supports the Mad King theory that we had postulated last time or 2 or 3 times ago? I think it kind of does.
I think the theory is nonsense and insane.
It supports that it could happen, but I still don't think it will happen.
And also, because I think the thing with Bran is, the important things that Bran is going to do, we know it's not in the past, it's in the now.
Then why wouldn't he make time? Well, why are we time traveling?
I mean, yeah.
Great question.
There's definitely going to be some usage of it. Like, something is going to happen with this ability of Bran's to affect the past. Because there is no other reason to introduce it than if you're going to use it.
Right. We're going to get Tower Joy at some point this season, most likely with him actually doing it. Although I have thought of another way to do this, and we'll talk about it later in the show. But, I don't know, I'm not sold that that's how it's going to go. But I don't really have a better answer, so I'm not tied one way or the other.
Okay.
But I think Bran lost a week, right? So we can move on to the next segment. This is another actual After the Throne segment.
Get ready.
Where are they now?
Ready to do the
Oh,
segment
shit.
thing. Get ready to do the segment thing. We didn't say the segment yet, everybody.
Where are they now? Nailed it.
There, nailed
Okay.
it.
So where are they now? A bunch of places.
Everywhere.
I have a question. This is a map-related question. Not about their map, but just the maps in general.
Just maps.
Just the
concept of maps.
So generally, we have seen the map as a flat laid out map.
Yeah.
They live in a globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like we do.
Just need that cleared up, because not all fantasy is like that, or that's not always clear.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that Euron Greyjoy could potentially sail from Alaska to Kamchatka on the, you know how they have those lines on a risk map?
Yes.
Because that's what he's going to do, and I'd never even thought of that before, but it's really because and the map, and every time we're ever shown this, except for in the intro where we're zooming into stuff, but even kind of then too, seem to be the farthest two away from each other.
Right. Yeah, he's been, I don't know if the show really mentions this, but he, for many years now, he sailed west away from the Iron Islands and went to Essos from the other direction.
Right.
So
makes sense.
And so I actually have a quick question about the Euron, sort of like where are they? So Diggins, you're going to be Euron Greyjoy, and I'm just going to be like a guy who he's just commanded. So tell me
I'm not confident I can carry this bit.
No, it's fine.
I can do this.
Fine, all right, cool. All right,
Okay.
so just tell me to build all the ships and stuff like that. Okay.
I want you to chop down every tree and build me 1,000 ships.
Okay. Hey, you're on. Yeah, we don't have nearly enough wood to do that, sir.
Also, Euron, we're on the Iron Islands. There's no trees, really. Have you seen any trees? We're gonna have to start chopping down bridges and stuff. So, you want us to build stone or iron ships? Cool. All right. Well, we can do it. We can try that. I also have that question because it does seem like I have a mainland area. Okay, this is another problem I have with the show that has really bugged me for a while this season, but that episode brought up. I think Game of Thrones is a huge problem to show with scale. With showing me, an entire city worshipping Daenerys that's 70 people, right? And that's another one where, we had 8 guys at the King's Moot. Fine, that's not everyone in the city. But, every time their part of the map is laid out, it's like 4 large buildings. Like, how many people could they possibly have? When I saw Yara and Theon sail off in those ships, I was like, well, they're out of ships now. They took all the ships, because 20 is probably all the ships they have. When Stannis stormed Blackwater in an attempt to, and it was thwarted, but it was almost successful, take over King's Landing, he landed with 3 or 4 boats of guys, and had the Lannisters not shown up, he would have won. Like,
to be fair, that's a problem of budget. Like, you can only have so many things.
I understand that, but I do think that maybe he should say 10,000 ships, because also, oh, you know who else won the week? Littlefinger, because he gained the ability to teleport. So he was in the Vale last week, and he ended up in the whatever the town is near Castle Black. What was it called?
Molestown.
Molestown. But to do that, he would either get on one of Gandalf's mighty eagles and fly there, or have gone, I guess, through the Twins somehow, or got a boat.
Don't forget, this is also directly after it took him almost an entire season to get from Winterfell to the Vale.
Yes! So
a shorter distance.
The scale thing really bugs me, because it's like, oh, we got 20,000 men, 10,000 men. Well, they can't all live in that small of an area. Like, how many people are on this planet that Littlefinger can walk from there to there, but they can support large cities? Do you think he's magic? Do you think that's what it is? Or is Diddler in Portals? Is he Symmetra? A character from Overwatch that no one uses because she's bad?
Adman Zippy by day, number 1430.
Nando watch, 1, 2, 3.
I don't play Overwatch.
Wow.
Nando, I got a quick question. So, quick Littlefinger thing?
Yeah.
So, I want to know what you guys think about this. So, I know for every reason we have to think about Littlefinger is to think that he lies for every reason, and obviously there's a reason to think there's a motive behind him telling Sansa the whole Blackfish thing, but I really do think this one time he just told the truth. He's like, if I don't, I'm dead. So he had to one time, no BS. Because every person who does bullshit does that one time and only wants to tell the truth. I think this was his one.
Well, I don't think he lied, but I don't think it was just oh, we got out of this situation, I gotta tell the truth. I think he was, like, manipulating her, but I just don't think he needed to lie to do that.
Do you think it's, like, an effort for her to take down Ramsay because that's what he wants?
Yeah, I think it was just like, hey, listen, I know you don't like me, but here's this thing that you want. Here's a way you can do this thing that you want, that if you do, is also something I coincidentally want. Like, it's one of those things where he's not manipulating, like, he is, like, manipulating the situation to his advantage, but he's not, like, lying to and tricking her. He's just getting her to do the thing that he wants by pointing out what's in her interests.
Okay, fair enough.
I buy that. I'm not convinced, just because, and I think, see, to do this lie, Littlefinger would really have to, like, this wouldn't work as a lie. But I was not convinced until just now, I guess, that the Blackfish survived and we were never really shown exactly how it went. But I was convinced he survived the Red Wedding. Like, I just assumed when we saw it, because everybody in the room got killed, right? Obviously. Yeah. And he wasn't in the room because he went to go to the bathroom. But when we go outside, it's still chaos. Like,
oh yeah, they're all
he
dead.
Probably can't fight his way out there. The only way I can see him getting out of there is with, it's a good strategy, pretending he's one of the guys, being like, all right, let's kill all those Starks, and then just, like, backing out and then running away. But, like, and if he had died there and it was a fact, it would be a tough thing for Littlefinger to think he could get away with lying about, because she should know that if that's true. I don't know. I don't think it's a lie, just because if he was even kind of informed of the truth, he would be done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I agree. I don't think it's a lie.
So, and one thing about the Blackfish thing. So, it's more substantiated in the book, but there's actually a very, real quick. So, I guess in the show, the phrase have River Run, but River Run is actually under siege in the book, and Jaime tries to go get it back, and the Blackfish is just holding it up, just, like, in siege mode, and the way he did it, he jumped into, like, the river and, just swam through or some crazy shit.
Jaime convinces River Run to surrender without a fight.
Right.
But then Because he sends in Edmund, who they have prisoner, and is
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, we're gonna, like, fucking ruin you if you fight. Just for the good of everyone, just don't. But, like, when he gets in, Edmund's like, oh, the Blackfoot, well, he jumped in the water and swam away. Whoopsie doopsie. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And that's the last we've heard of him in the books.
Yeah. But, okay, so River Run isn't under siege anymore.
Yeah.
In the books,
In the
yeah.
books, yeah.
If he's right, I don't know. I think he's
Ed
probably
Muir.
Edmure. I
Sorry.
think he's probably telling the truth in that instance, Littlefinger. But it's Littlefinger. So like in the show Littlefinger, he has 3 modes. Obviously, this one possibly could tell the truth. It could also be a very well orchestrated lie. He's done that 2 times. Or it could just be winging it, which seems like most of the time. / crazy. Like, he's got that mode is, we determined last week, his main mode. So especially recently, so I wouldn't guarantee that it's not that, and that's what makes him such a tough character to read, but not in the fun way, in like the weird way, the kind of boring way. So alright, other stuff. I wanted to introduce a new segment. This is just an us segment now. Oh, hold on, let me get the sound effect. Okay. I'm calling it the new most boring part of the show.
Okay.
So who do you think, DJ, I'm going to postulate is the new most boring part of the show?
Oh, I know the answer.
But it's new, so it can't be something.
Oh,
that
wait,
you thought
It's
was
something
the
that
most
just
part of the
happened this week that made this new part of the show the most boring part of the show now. Like, we haven't seen it happen yet, but it's something we know is going to happen.
Are you gonna murder people?
Okay, that's your guess, Diggins?
show. Oof.
It's so boring, you may have forgotten it happened.
Oh, it's very possible.
Yeah.
I did watch this 3 days ago. How am I supposed to remember that long?
Exactly.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to make it
The
so...
origin of the White Walkers.
No, that's not a bad
Yeah,
guess.
that's a
Because I did
guess.
find that kind of boring. It was interesting, but okay, so...
I have
Can I
some
get another
thoughts
guess?
I have
Sure.
some thoughts about that one.
Man penis.
No, but that was tough. I really prefer in penis time when they got a guy unzip his pants for a second.
Yeah.
This was like Django Unchained, where cut to a penis.
Yep.
Like, I think Game of Thrones does this sometimes with the. I think they do this now a little better with the women, like with the girl taking off her clothes. If you were a girl that didn't want to see boobs, you'd mentally prepare for that. I am fine with them showing penises. I would, I would hope
Equality.
that they do. Yeah, as many as as there are boobs and butts at least. But I think maybe give us a tiny amount of warning.
But not just like penis.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was the most boring
The
part?
new most boring part of the show is without a doubt Jorah's search for the cure.
Oh, that was my second guess.
That is
damn
Jorah
it.
and Tyrion was barely manageable as an extended part of the show.
Yeah.
Jorah on his own, just like meeting people and doing like his classic Jorah. Hello, my name's Jorah. I don't care about anything. My character 100% face value. Like, I am going to be so bored by that.
I actually imagine that he's just gonna die in the next episode. I really thought when Dany was telling him to find a cure, I swear to God that was her convincing herself, no, he's not gonna die. Like, I think
Right.
she's out of her fucking mind, and he's gonna be dead the next episode.
That's
Well,
possible.
I think it was mostly meant to be a nice gesture of like, hey, listen, I forgive you, even though you're super grosso.
I half agree with it. You think he's gross?
He's not gross.
Hey, he's the most honorable character on the show, almost.
The guy who's then only in the East in the first place because he sold a bunch of slaves? The most
Oh.
honorable character in the show?
Come
It was,
on.
that was
not
a
why
different time,
That's
Dickens.
not why I'm calling him grosso. I was just pointing out that fact.
Viserys told us they were trespassers on his land. If he were king, there wouldn't be any such nonsense.
Very true.
Oh, good. Viserys, the most moral character.
Now, that's a gross up.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. It's just his attitude and feelings towards Dany are kind of grosso.
Really?
Oh,
I think they're
think
pretty
so.
sincere.
and genuine at
Like,
least.
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't sincerely like her. I'm saying
Oh,
that
so he's sincerely gross.
the expression of that becomes grosso fairly often.
See, I find his feelings towards her the least gross of most of the relationships on the show. Like,
Okay, well, let's not count the incest because that's not fair.
Sure, well, even
that's like instant grosso points.
even looking at like the difference between him and Dario, Dario's just like, I'm a big man horn. I'm gonna fuck you because you seem cool. And Jorah's like, I know this girl. I protected her. I'm in love with her. I don't know. It just seems more genuine than most of the love. Like everybody else in the show, just married because it's convenient for them.
But the big difference though is that with Dario's like, hey, do you want to fuck? It'll be really fun. And Danny's like, okay. And with Jorah, it's like, I love you. And she's like, oh, maybe cut that out. And he's like, no.
Okay, alright. I can see the argument for Grosso. I don't agree, but I totally see your point. I see where you're coming from.
So here's how I think the Jorah thing is going to play out. Ideally, I think this, and I'm sure they can come up with a better or worse idea. But I think one of the most interesting ways it come out is he's away from her, right? He never does well away from her. He goes on this quest. He doesn't find anything. He pretends he does, and then he goes back, goes crazy, and kills someone or something like that. He's like, I found the cure, and she's like, oh, good. And then he goes grayscale and rips Tyrion's head off or something. Maybe that's better. I honestly don't know, because I don't think he's not going to find the cure, or he's going to find it and we're all cool. I think this has to have a negative implication.
Or they're like, Tyrion, turns out the cure for Jorah's grayscale is dwarf penis.
I was going to say love. Like Harry Potter. I don't know.
It's like, so Tyrion, the only way we can save Jorah is if you chop off your penis.
Can we get another dwarf? There are more dwarves. I've seen them.
Yeah, I saw them on this episode.
Oh, sorry. Lannister dwarf penis. Very specific.
Very rare penis, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know. It sounds like you're making it up. That sounds like you just really want my penis.
No, well, we want to save Jorah. Do you not care for Jorah? Jorah saved your life, Tyrion.
After he kidnapped me.
Well, he had good reason to.
Did he, though?
You did. I told him to. Listen, it's not so bad not having a penis, Tyrion. It's quite refreshing.
Yeah, now you can have more in common with Varys.
You don't have to pee. You just get to poo it all out. So it's one less bodily function.
I don't think that's true. I think that's not at all accurate.
Well, I can give you the magical potion to do that, Jorah.
Well, I'm Tyrion.
Whatever.
I'm Jorah.
I get so confused because I don't have a penis. Those are some of the side effects.
Well,
you can't tell faces apart.
You
have that rare disease where you can't tell faces.
You're not really selling me on this.
Chaos is a...
No, that's the other guy. That's the other guy.
No, that's me.
Oh, that's you.
I say it's a pit and he says it's a ladder.
Oh, okay.
There's not as many swords as you would think. I don't know. No, actually, I'm the one who says the other thing. And scene. So I think that's how that's going to go.
So Jorah's going to get saved. Nice.
Yes. Want to transition to another fun segment?
Segment, get the sound effect right.
Tiquara Yaraveo again. So I have a new one of these that I found on the internet that, like the Rickon losing his leg theory from a couple of weeks ago, I think is pretty airtight.
Okay. And
I think this is another one where you guys might be like, yeah, of course that's what's happening. But I still want to...
I also have two that I'd like to share.
Explicitly explained on the show.
To be fair, I don't recall that being my reaction to the Rickon.
No, I'm sure.
I believe my reaction was like, I can see it, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, when I told this to people at work, they were all like, of course that's what's going on. I was like, alright, shut up. But this, okay. So the theory is that Sansa is pregnant. Here's how that holds up. So her speech with Littlefinger this week was very specifically about feeling something inside of her, of physical pain inside of her, related to Ramsay. Also, when she showed up at Castle Black, she didn't like the food. Also, she's been knitting a lot of new clothes recently. All things you would have to or do if you were pregnant. What are the show implications? I'm not sure. Maybe she has Ramsay's baby and that's complicated. Maybe they just did this because logically she probably would be, based off.
I mean, if you're gonna play the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't necessarily like it. I haven't made up my mind one way or the other, but I think that might be happening.
Well, without commenting one way or another on the likelihood of that, I will say that to your first point about the thing about a physical pain inside her related to it.
Right.
I feel like that's very common kind of thing you hear from survivors of sexual violence. That's as far as I know, and I could be wrong.
No, I agree.
But I do think that's a common
vernacular
expression of how that thing kind of like how that experience like traumatizes a person,
Right.
and like how it makes them feel. So I think that was I don't know necessarily that was about pregnancy so much as it was about using that kind of language.
Right. I think that's how we as an audience were supposed to read it originally. But I think when we find out she's pregnant, we'll look back at that moment and go, "Oh, she was talking about both." But go on. Anything?
Yeah, it could be both.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I definitely agree, and that's how I read it originally. But once I saw the thing, I was like, "Oh, she could be." And she could be saying like, "I feel it," but also like, "I do feel different now," and maybe she doesn't even know that she's pregnant. Maybe she just doesn't like food anymore, and maybe she thinks she's gaining weight, but maybe she just doesn't know. Like, possibly, I don't know.
We got a Peggy and Mad Men situation.
Yeah, or a
Enjoy that season 1 spoiler stream.
or that show. Well, John Hamm told me it was okay to say so. or that show, I didn't know I was pregnant, where like a lady poops out a baby at a Halloween party, and she's like, "Oh, I was pregnant the whole time."
God.
That was and thanks MTV, I think. So
thanks, not the word I would use.
Or
Yeah,
Fuse.
exactly. So yeah.
So I have 2 for you now.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so do you guys want to hear the "there's no fucking way" one first, or the "oh my god, it's probably right"?
Wait, there's no fucking way. What?
Theory. They got 2 theories.
He has 2 theories.
Series?
He has 2 theories he wants. Not about what
For the
he said,
segment.
Is that
like
what
for
they're
the
called,
segment.
or are they called something else? There's a more specific term we use, and you're not using it. What's the longer phrase we use to describe things that are said in this segment?
Yeah, come on. That was
That's
you nailed it.
That's it.
Nailed
Okay,
it.
go on.
So
your
what do you
first?
hear first?
Take what's how
I want to use the one that you think is right. First.
Yeah, let's take the airtight.
Sure.
I want to hear the one you think is
Okay,
right first.
so
Because there's only 2 speeds. There's airtight or completely impossible.
okay. All right, so this one is the premise that everything's going to be ruined with the Tyrells, and that the Lancers are going to ruin the Tyrells for this reason. So we know that the High Sparrow told Tommen something that we didn't hear.
Yes.
I think you guys know where I'm going with this.
I think we talked about it.
Okay, I think it's on if you heard
on
this.
Sunday.
And then Tommen goes back to Cersei with something where he's about to tell him something and he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what it's thought is that the High Sparrow told Tommen that the Tyrells killed Joffrey, and the way he got that was from Loras.
I like
Because
it.
Loras was fucking broken when they saw him, so they probably said, "Look, just tell us this and we'll let you out of here." Loras said, "Okay. My mom tried to,
Grandma,
Grandma was the one who killed Joffrey." Told that to the High Sparrow, tells it to Cersei to have those 2 families tear each other apart, because the High Sparrow knows that them combined could end him, but if they fight each other, he wins.
So you
Hands
think
down.
this is the High Sparrow's plan in action?
Yeah.
I kind of think this is more Cersei's plan in action.
But does she know the thing that I'm saying? Because if she knows that, but if she knows the Tyrells killed Joffrey, there's no way she would work with them.
No, she just, here's my track out of it anyway. She just found out from Tommen, right? That's the thing that Tommen's like, she's like, "What did they tell you, Tommen?" And Tommen tells her,
Do you think it's that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then she thinks like, okay, so here's what we got. We got this High Sparrow. He's a big problem for me. We got all these people in the small council I don't particularly like. Kevin, maybe we can work with him. He's a Lannister. We kind of need to keep the family together. But fuck both of those Tyrells. Fuck Olenna, because she's always been mean to me, and now this. And fuck Mace Tyrell, because he's too handsome to be left alive. So, she says, she goes, I'm Mace the Ace, by the way. Wow, he's coming in a big way next week with his feather hat. I cannot wait. Also, he could be the mastermind. You never know. Maybe he's quietly, like, sitting back in the corner. So I'm going to act like a big doofus and sing like an idiot. And everyone will think it's not me, and maybe they'll let move. Anyway, so she goes, "Listen, Olenna and Mace, you guys got to get your army up now. Get them all up from Highgarden and fight this war for me. And I'll totally bring the Lannister army. Like, they'll show up. Like they did to the Mad King. Like, Mad King, trust us. We're all good. Let us into King's Landing." But while that's happening, either the Lannister army is going to go south and destroy Highgarden, or once that whole fight is done, the Lannister army will show up late, take out the remaining Tyrells and the remaining Faith Militant, and take over the city.
I have a problem.
Yeah.
I have a little problem with this theory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like 99% sure that Loras doesn't know that.
That's the question.
Really?
I'm like 99% sure. We
Damn.
saw Olenna tell Marjorie,
Yes.
but we never saw anyone tell Loras, and I don't think that they would.
Also, to more of your point, Loras wasn't there when Joffrey died because he got up because he was angry about the thing.
Yeah.
So he couldn't have even accidentally seen it. Now, I think he probably does know because he's not an idiot, and I think he's smart enough to figure it out.
The High Sparrow?
No, Loras.
Oh, okay.
I think Loras is smart enough to figure it out. However, I think that's what he told him, because I can't think of another thing that would be as interesting.
And that has Tommen crying before he tells Cersei. Is it possible that... Now, okay, there is one other thing the High Sparrow could have told Tommen that I'll get to, but is it possible that the High Sparrow found out from someone else? Not Marjorie.
Maybe Marjorie.
I was actually going to say, maybe... Because the last time we left off Marjorie, she was with Loras, and Loras was, like, utterly broken. And she was like, you have to be strong. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, oh, what do I do? So maybe after that point, she thought, if I tell them something huge, maybe they'll let us go. Okay. I don't think that happened, because I think Marjorie is a stronger character than that.
Yeah.
But, like, there's one way that it could happen where Loras doesn't know, and then that's still how it plays out.
Okay. The other thing I thought that he might have told Tommen is that your parents are Cersei and Jaime. I think you're.
But I'm sure he's heard that.
He's not an idiot.
I'm sure he's heard that.
Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't cause him to cry in front of...
Well, the other thing he could have told him, I think the face value thing is I'm going to make Marjorie do the walk next week or something, which is what Cersei tells them.
Yeah.
Right? Cersei goes in and says this. But Cersei never tells the truth or misses an opportunity to manipulate someone.
I don't see what the value is in hiding exactly what the High Sparrow and Tommen said if it's just what Cersei says right then.
Yeah, I think DJ's right. Now, I do think this theory is pretty airtight because it looks like in the next week episode, it's mostly the Tyrell army. And it's the Tyrell army, Mace, and Jaime that march on the Sept. I don't see a lot of Lannisters there.
Okay.
So yeah, that feeds into what I think is going to happen.
But then I also my other point to this then is I'm not so sure that the High Sparrow has proven himself to be, fairly clever when it comes to like politics and like wrangling. Like more so than you might expect from a religious fanatic.
Right.
At the same time, I don't think that the man who ordered the arrest of the Queen and the Queen Mother would react to the knowledge that someone less powerful did something really bad with, well, let's manipulate them instead of just going and arresting them.
Okay.
It's one.
I see that view because it's against everything that he's done so far.
I'll give you a theory. Like, is it a 7 out of 10 right now? What do you think? What's your
the crazy
shot?
one? Okay.
Yeah.
The other one is that before Cersei's trial, and they're all waiting in the Sept for her. So it's like everyone's gathered. I think it's insane. Everyone's gathered in the Sept, and Cersei hasn't come. They're all waiting for Cersei in the Sept. Cersei has like her guard and everyone in the King's Guard bar the doors from the outside and have Qyburn burn the place to the ground with wildfire. And I'm like, there's no way they would use the same exact gimmick in the same season twice. There's no way. There's no way.
I think they like that parody, kind of doing two things that are kind of similar, showing how characters are in the same position. I also like the idea that if we are doing Clegane Bowl, what if we get the Hound, resurrected Hound? Because remember, and I thought about this the other day. I was like, wait, what? We still haven't seen Ian McShane's character at all.
Yep.
We have to see him eventually. Maybe it'll be next week. But let's say we get Clegane Bowl, right? If we do that, what if fucking the mountain comes in on fire? What if that's their plan for the mountain? Because that would be how you beat the Hound, bar none. But then maybe more fire. Like maybe he explodes. I don't know. We don't know what. That's another thing. We don't know the rules of him. We don't know what he can do. If you can kill him, if fire can kill him, we just don't know. So I'll give that theory a 3, just because I don't think we out of 10. I don't think we have enough knowledge to go there, but I don't think if it happened, I would be like, well, we didn't even see that coming at all, because we did see Qyburn's lair. Maybe in the back there was more wildfire that I really wasn't looking, and we do have an inkling that that's where it's going to go, some sort of showdown in the set.
Right.
Diggins, do you have any Takatwa anyways? You don't have to, but if you do have one.
Now it's time to drop it. Like it's hot. Or like you're dropping dimes.
It's not hot in here, guys. It's nice and cool. Think cool things.
No, I don't think I've got any.
Do you guys want a nice hot coffee while we're waiting? Okay.
Oh, the GTA mod?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do love that. I want to revisit a theory that I think we have more leverage on now that we've seen this week's events. I think my reasoning for why the John and Mira theory made sense was that Mira, in a position almost like no one else in the show, has no motivation and no destiny. She is aimless, and she is there protecting him because that's what they told her to do. But she spends days just looking out in the distance going, what am I for? She's the only character besides Bren that survived the thing, which is pretty unlikely.
Well, someone had to move Bren away.
Yeah, right. But
we needed someone.
Wouldn't you switch? Wouldn't you have her be like, I'll hold the door or I'll fight them off while Hodor, you take Bran? You're way better at it?
No.
Everyone else is sacrificing themselves?
Where is he going? He doesn't know where to go.
So here's the other reason I think this theory holds up a little bit more. We have Bran wandering through the wilderness. People have two theories on where he's going to end up because they can't just stay around. They're going to get caught.
Yeah.
People think he's either going to go back to the floating castle and meet the Reeds, or bump into Brandon Stark, right? Or not Brandon, that is Benjen Stark, sorry.
Oh.
Do you not think that?
Oh.
I like that.
I think Benjen being alive is impossible.
Well, what you guys say is this magical cold
Well,
hands,
he's,
right?
he's not.
Sorry.
Right.
Confirmed not.
It was thought for a while, but yeah, then it was confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those things that everyone really thought was true, but now we know that it's not.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So
it would have been cool.
Let's say he runs into Benjen and he is, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's leading the Wolf Army. Maybe that's what he's doing. Ooh, that kind of works, although they're in the river. But anyway, those, Howland Reed and Benjen Stark are probably the only two characters alive that know, if that is true, the Mira and John thing. Because Howland was there, and Benjen probably would have been able to infer it, or maybe Ned would have told him. Everybody else in the show that could have possibly known that is dead.
I don't think Benjen would know. I don't think
Ned wouldn't have told a soul.
Maybe he guessed. Maybe he saw it in him. Maybe.
There could have been. You could make an argument where Benjen's like, Ned's my brother.
Yeah.
I know Ned.
I know when he's lying.
You could make that argument, and then,
Or maybe Leandra, that's her name, his sister? Lysana, right. Maybe Lysana told him.
Liana. Oh, what was I?
Let me get you that shame bill. Hold on one
She's out for
both of us.
Liana.
Maybe Liana told him to tell Benjen for some reason. Maybe she was like, listen, all three of us, we're the three amigos. He should know as well. Because I need you and him to both be able to protect him and her, potentially in the future.
Okay.
I don't love this theory, but I don't love that part of this theory, but I do think it's interesting that the two characters they're most likely to run into, and I think the Benjen thing's a little out there, but maybe people think that's what possibly is going to happen, are the two characters most likely to also know if Mira and John are the secret Targaryens. They would be the two characters most likely to know that.
Well, doesn't it feel that they're just going to find out because Bran's going to warg back and he's going to be like, wait, I want to see it now.
Probably.
Not warg back, sorry.
Well, maybe they'll drop some hints. Maybe when we hang out, if we hang out with Benjen, or if we hang out with what's his name, Howland
Reed,
we will see him saying some things that will, once we know this, the Tower of Joy truth in episode 10, maybe in episode 7 and 8, we'll get those little hints that the show seems to like to do. I'm not saying it guarantees it, but I am saying the fact that she's still alive is pretty, it does lead to my theory that they are keeping her alive for some yet-to-be-announced heroic destiny, I think.
Well, I think the reason why Mira is the one kept alive is because if you have scenes where it's only Bran and Hodor, Bran has no one to play off of, and
right.
Those scenes become very boring. Whereas Mira is more of a developed character and someone who he can have a conversation with. And plus, this way we get to have the thing that demonstrates his time travel powers maybe with Hodor in a way that it happening with Mira probably wouldn't have. Also, I just want to say the difference between them finding Benjen and going to meet Howland Reed is enormous.
I agree.
They have to get past the wall.
Yeah, like they would probably
Howland
stop
Reed.
at the wall.
I agree. I think they're both. Wait, so you think Benjen's more likely or less likely?
Well,
I don't know that necessarily.
If they have to meet one of them.
yeah, it's
Ben-
Benjen.
Benjen's more likely. Okay, interesting.
But I think they're just going to the wall. They're just gonna be like, we gotta get you to the wall.
I think-
There are no other options.
Maybe
my stupid dead brother can't force us to go to this fucking tree.
Well, here's the way we'll know that.
I think. Sorry.
If the next week on has the Benjen thing again, like it did last week.
Yeah.
Or if the last week on, sorry. If it's like,
Right.
hey, Benjen's a guy, you know, they love to do that.
Yeah.
I think that we're headed towards the grand Stark reunion.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've already got Sansa and Jon. Now Bran's going to go there. Eventually, we're going to get Arya.
It would be nice to have Benjen in that Grand Stark reunion. Also, maybe if his name was on the IMDb page for this episode, that might help.
Is he really?
People say. I haven't looked, because I honestly don't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard rumblings that
Let
he maybe.
me look.
Are you going to look?
I'm gonna look.
Alright, check. I've heard IMDb and I've heard Wikipedia.
And then I'll say yes or no, so you'll know anyway.
Neither of them could be true. Either of them could be true, and either. I mean, this is the time for it, right? I mean, this is the show where we should know. While you're looking that up,
yes.
I wanted to talk about, or I wanted to move this along to the next segment that we always do on this show. And then they all, do you have it? It looks like you kind of have it. Or don't have it.
No, not yet.
Are you looking it up on IMDb by the actor? That's probably the way to do it.
I was gonna go by episode. So this episode is called
Next episode.
Blood of My Blood.
Ooh, I like it. Oh, I like that a lot. I think that really, Ooh, that's good. Because there's not a lot of people.
All right, we got young Ned.
There's some stuff.
You can tell me if it's here. This is what this show is about. Is
Oh,
radioid.
Oh, what?
What?
Oh my god, he's gonna be on there?
Who?
Wait.
Tell
Oh,
me,
that
tell me.
guy?
Shut up, you fucks.
Oh my god, it's Babono!
Babono?
Babono's gonna be on!
Who is that?
The devil
I
Bono.
don't
He's
know.
the best Bono in the world.
Yeah, the best
He's the Bono that Bono aspires to be. Nothing? You know anything?
No, I don't think so.
I'm not seeing anything.
Who's Lady Crane?
I don't know.
I'm curious about who Lady Crane is.
Maybe she's new.
Is she maybe Lady Stoneface?
Oh, she's the person that Arya has to kill.
Oh, fuck.
I'll tell you what. Oh, yeah, I guess we have Young Benjen from last week. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say here. I have heard what's called Blood of My Blood.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up on Wikipedia. And I know it's Wikipedia. How could you possibly? But
There's the many stream
Lancel's in this episode.
Exactly. Lancel?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, we do have the showdown, so that makes sense.
Also, theater troupe actress Sansa.
Okay.
Guys, Gregor Clegane's in this episode.
Dang.
Really?
It's a real shock.
Yeah. Impossible. Okay.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Are you
He's
sure they
died
don't
a
mean
while
Sir
ago.
Robert Strong, who's definitely a different character?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I like him. Even though they did call him Gregor Clegane in the show.
Yeah, they're not really trying.
No,
they're not
they're
really
not.
bothering with the lie in
I
the
feel
show.
like the After the Thrones guy would still be like, no, aren't they different people? And then
So-
someone would go, no, they said it.
So you,
oh.
do you want to hear the synopsis for the next episode?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I think
An old foe comes back into the picture.
Okay.
Gilly meets Sam's family.
Oh, yeah, that.
Arya faces a difficult choice, and Jaime faces off against the High Sparrow.
Love it. Oh my god, I can't wait for May.
Episode 7 is called The Broken Man.
Okay.
People think that's Clegane Bowl,
Oh, that's a good one.
because the mountain is the Broken Man.
Or at the very least,
Or
it's the Hound.
Can I tell you one more thing, too, that I would like to see?
Oh man, and the episode after that, 6.8.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I know it. Tyrion, right?
Must
He's
be.
6/8 of a man?
Yes, exactly.
Or Theon, because he lost 2/8, really. I want to make this complaint. I was thinking about this for a while. So my two problems with Game of Thrones, like we said. My first one's scale. My second one's the passage of time. I think the passage of time is just straight garbage. Because we spend so little time with characters, we have no idea, like this Littlefinger thing. How did he get there? How long is it between episodes? You know, how long is this guy staying at the wall? I think what we have to start doing, listen, I know you're all watching. Auntie, Chris, DB, David, George. Let's cut the crap. Mallory,
Jason.
Jason,
Bill
Phil,
Simmons.
Jamari, LeBron,
Charles.
Charles in charge.
Shaquille.
Shaq.
All right, so here's what I want you guys to do. I want us to change the format. Gnarls. CeeLo. Danger Mouse. I want us to change the format of Game of Thrones slightly. Every episode should be like the Purple Wedding. Every episode should be the normal 7 minutes of titles and last week on. Then maybe let's say 23 minutes of just random scenes kind of cut together slowly. And then about 30 minutes in, we hit the last bit of show. And that's all one thing. So maybe it's a training montage for Arya, or maybe it's one scene like the Purple Wedding. But I think that would, if we could do that this season, we could get rid of the whole John thing in one episode. By the end of episode 1, he's waking up we don't have to fuck around with the Melisandre thing, with the reveal, 'cause it's not that great of a reveal. It's interesting, but it's not the end of episode 1. I think they have to start structuring the show a little bit differently, and sometimes they do, like Hard Home, and it's great. And sometimes they don't, and it's kind of boring and hard to follow. And it's also hard to remember what's actually going on in each episode, you know?
I know.
I think, if let's say we were writing this week's episode like that. What was the biggest thing in the episode? It was all the Bran stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's cram the last 2 Bran experiences that weren't in this episode into this episode. We'll make it like a training montage. We'll kind of cut it so it's clear that it's all on the same day. Let's do it like that. That way, we have the Bran episode and then the other episode. We can still keep up with characters, but I just feel like that's how the show has to go.
All right.
So I'm right.
Okay.
You fucking George? Tell him. Because you've got the weight here. Also, whatever the name of the guy, Mike, probably in charge of HBO.
Can I
dispute my theory or my... Sure, absolutely.
Well, no, I'm not gonna... I don't necessarily agree, but I don't feel passionate enough about this to do an argument about it. I just want to do a tangent here.
Sure.
Because you're talking about Bran.
Yes.
Can we talk for a minute? Just a minute, because we should probably not go too much longer.
Yeah, you gotta.
We only have 3 more segments.
Only
we can
about
skip
30 more minutes.
That one's not good. Don't look at the segments. They're supposed to be a fun surprise.
Sorry, it's only right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk for just a minute about how the reveal of the origin of the White Walkers is the most nothing thing ever?
So nothing.
Yes. Why?
I guess
it's just it's not just that that knowing that changes absolutely nothing about the show whatsoever. It's that the show presents it to us as if it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, it should be a huge thing, and even if it doesn't change that much, it should be whoa, that's where the White Walkers came from. That's crazy. But instead, it's the Three-Eyed Raven's hey, Bran, check this shit out, and then he sees it, and Bran's whoa, that's crazy. And then Leaf is well, we have to, and then that's it. That's everything. That's the whole thing. It cuts to a completely normal, mundane scene directly afterwards, and no one talks about it again. Why? Why is it like that? I was so baffled when that happened.
Yeah, that is frustrating because it's wait, he's the Night's King. He's Bowser at the end of our Super Mario Brothers, right? That's what we're supposed to believe. His origin should be in a movie. The villain's origin is 20 minutes.
And also, the main thing we learned is that the Night's King and the Whites, at least, and the White Walkers as a group are Mr. Smith, right? Humanity is a virus, Mr. Anderson, and we are the cure. So that's what they're doing. They're fighting back against the people, specifically because the people cut down all their nice trees, I guess.
Well, that's why the Children of the Forest made the White Walkers.
Right.
But clearly the White Walkers feel no affinity for the Children of the Forest and will readily kill them too. So that might be more just they created them for that revenge, but it ended up being well, we just want everything to die.
I agree. I think that's definitely what it is, and it is stupid. Can we also say, and this is an aside, based on, just related to the Whites and the White Walkers, the Night's King has my favorite weapon in the show right now, by far. That glass kind of saber thing he has, or whatever you would even call that, is awesome. I need one. They need one in the background of their show because they have every other thing that you can buy on HBO.com/buy/Game of Thrones /expensive garbage.
They have the Night's King bust.
They do have the Night's King bust, which is a cool looking bust, I guess. He's got the are you not entertained look going on, which is great. All right, next theory. We have 2 more, or not theory, sorry. Next segment. 2 more to get to, and this one is The big idea. So do you remember what their big idea was?
Something about sowing.
Reaping what you sow.
Reaping what you sow. Do you guys think that was the big idea?
No.
I'll give you a hint. The big idea is never what they say, unless they got it right like once out of the 5 episodes. You want to hear my 2 alternative big ideas?
Sure.
I think these are much better. First one, getting caught off guard. This is the episode where a lot of characters that usually aren't caught off guard are caught off guard. So first you got Daenerys is caught off guard by what's his name telling her he loves her. Jorah. You got Arya being caught off guard by the play. She thinks she's finally got it, you know. You got Bran being caught off guard by the Night King when he gets him. You got Littlefinger getting caught off guard by Sansa.
Yep.
And you got Varys getting caught off guard by the Red Woman.
And Yara.
Oh, and Yara, right? Yara and Theon getting caught off guard in the King's Moot.
Yep.
So I think that was, I think that makes sense in where we are in the season, because we had a lot of characters expecting things to go one way, and now that we're about halfway through the season, we need to throw a monkey wrench into the middle of it, so that now they have to switch gears or get completely fucked. Like, they're pretty fucked. Want to hear my other one?
Yeah.
We out, fam. So this was the episode where a lot of characters just fled or left. So we got Bran and Mira fleeing or leaving. We got Jorah going out to find the cure. We got Theon and Yara just completely beelining it out of there. And we got Brienne going on her quest to find the guy in the river.
Oh, hashtag ship Brienne Tormund.
I do enjoy that kind of meme.
I like
but
it.
As a fan, as an old fan of Arrow, I think shipping is the most dangerous thing for a show that could possibly happen.
Fair enough.
It has destroyed Arrow to the point where its subreddit is now a Daredevil subreddit because of All-Licity shipping has ruined everything. And all the fans know it's that now, that's the problem. It's the problem. But yeah, I think those are the 2 things of the week.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like something that involves nothing there. But yeah, a lot of characters are running away or going or just leaving, and a lot of characters are like kind of getting shaken up. Specifically Littlefinger and Varys. We never see them getting like, oh shit, I fucked up. Like
they're never shook.
And they never. It's not just even that they're never shook. It's never that they meet a player who has more acumen than them at a specific point. Like, even Littlefinger, when he seemed like he kind of fucked up in the Vale, was able to immediately turn the tables and be like, I've planned this, or I can just see the future, and I know everything. Like, and he did that. And you guys have any other big ideas?
No.
I don't think there was one.
Yeah.
As per usual these days.
Oh, well, I got one. Hold the door.
Hold the door.
Hodod the Hodor.
Alright, last segment. By the way, who the fuck is that? I think they got right. It's that red woman.
Yeah, for sure.
Kavarna.
Yeah.
That could be wrong.
We don't have a Shane Bell to check, or to threaten you with, so. Last thing we have to do before we get out of here, questions. We have to wrap up with these guys.
Let's answer them
4
rapid fire.
Yeah.
3 of them were good, honestly. First one, where are Mira and Bran going?
We kind of already talked about that.
We
The
did already
Wall.
talk about that. It's either the Wall, the Reed's Castle, or Benjen's going to meet them before they go anywhere, and he's going to take them to wherever he's been hiding out.
Or Cold Hands will show up finally.
Yes,
Yeah,
or Cold Hands will show up. Next one, and this one I think we haven't really talked about as much. Where are the Greyjoys going? Where are Theon and Yara going?
Oh, another point I wanted to bring up real quick related to this question. So, I think in the Kingsmoot scene, I think there was a point where Yara's actress forgot her line.
Oh, really?
And they
Really?
I'm making a silly theory now.
No, but go for it, please.
I think there's a point where she forgot her line, and like everyone like gave her a second to remember it, but then they kept going, and then they decided that was the take they were going to use.
Really?
Because there was one point towards the end of the Kingsmoot where Euron's like, "Well, what's your plan then?" And Yara's like, "Okay, listen, we're gonna build the biggest fleet there ever was." And then she stops, and she just like hangs there for a couple seconds, and it's like, "What's the second part of your plan, Yara?" And then Euron just goes, "Well, my plan is similar."
We're gonna build.
And it's like, what? Was that your entire plan?
We're gonna build.
Your entire plan was just you're gonna build a big fleet?
We got the best fleet. We're gonna build an amazing fleet. People will be like, "Stop building the best fleet," and I'll say, "No, we have to keep building the best fleet." I'll find that scene. I think I kind of know where it was in the episode.
You know, people as they do in these horrible days that we live in, compare every seeming demagogue to Trump, but she had the Trumpier plan.
I love the idea where she's like, yeah, I'm going to be queen, and we're just going to do what we do.
Yeah. We're just gonna have the sickest navy.
If I were Yorn, I would just say, actually, no, elect her, and then I'm going to kill her, and then just elect me. You guys didn't have a problem with me killing the king the first time. I mean, come on, really.
Well, his first act as king was like, well, let's go kill him. So, you know.
That's true.
So, while I find this clip, where do you guys think they were going? Because I honestly don't have a great answer for this, but as book readers, you probably know. Let's say they're going to... One option is Daenerys.
We're past them.
No, Kingsman's still in progress in book.
No, I'm saying, no, that's not. Euron's the king.
Huh.
Euron sent Victarion to go get Daenerys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who does not exist in the show yet.
Thank you.
Maybe
they're going to Daenerys to head him off.
I think they just wanted to get out, and I think next episode we're gonna get them talking about where they're gonna go.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get that, but
I'm just saying, if the question is what was their destiny, what are they doing, what are they trying to do right now, I think they don't know yet.
I got it. Salvador San's coming back, everybody.
Ooh. Oh, Salvador San! Too bad he's on the other side of the continent. He's in the Narrow Sea. That's where he pirates.
It's a globe, like Nando said, so, you know.
So they just have to sail for a year, and they'll get there.
Like Magellan. He did that thing that one time, right?
Yes, he did. Well, he died, but his crew finished.
While Nando finds this, we can go into the third question. Is there a cure for grief?
No, I think I found it, so let's go
sick.
for it. So this is definitely close, and this is the right part in the scene. It may take a teeny bit of time to get there, but I think it'll be worth it. Jesus Christ.
It's okay. Do you want me to pull it up?
She just does kind of...
Yeah, I think she just forgot her line. I think
I want to see it. I want to see her face. Go back a little bit.
I honestly think the line before that also looks like she forgot it.
Okay.
I don't know why this is so quiet.
It doesn't matter what she says, right? It's whatever.
But you can see it on her face.
Yeah. So people are talking. And actually...
Yeah, I think you're 100% off.
I honestly, DIggins, I really agree with you. I think she forgot because she didn't say it like, we're going to build the largest fleet the world has ever seen.
And then he cut her off or something, yeah.
Yeah. But she was meandering, we're going to build the largest fleet the world has ever seen.
Yep. That's also why I think she might be the Hillary to his Trump. She hears a popular idea and she's like, oh, and I'm going to build on that. But also, I think it's worth doing because we also forgot to do this week. I think we once had a segment that we really haven't gotten back to because there's been a reason for it. We didn't say who won the week on our show yet, and I think DIggins just won the week on our show. But that's your observation. I haven't seen that anywhere, but I think it's spot on.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on the end steal. Okay.
That's fine.
I'm going to clip that and then be like, oh, shit. And then people will go, here's all the Reddit karma. All right. So, I didn't really weigh in. I have no idea where they're going. So there's only maybe 3 places they could go, right? So they're not going back to Winterfell, that's for sure.
No. Third question.
Grayscale cure, and that's all it says. To it.
So
that's all it says. You can watch the show if you haven't. It just says grayscale cure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this one real quick. No.
Yeah, I agree.
Nando.
I think there might be a cure, but I think it would be more interesting on the show if he couldn't find one and had to do something else.
I don't think there's going to be a cure. Either it's a futile quest, or he's going to find some magic shit that makes everything worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the only grayscale cure we've heard of so far, we didn't see it, but. Mm-hmm. Stannis said that he got some wizards to do some shit to Shireen, and that stopped her grayscale.
Now, we know who has a wizard in this show. Varys has one chained up in a box. Now, we get the point made by the red woman. What was her name? Kavarna, that he was a second rate or something like that. He sucked. But maybe that guy knows? I don't know. How many wizards have we even seen? He would be the first wizard we've seen. Qyburn's like kind of a wizard. The Meisters aren't really wizards, but like I haven't seen anyone be playing a pointy hat and doing just magic over a cauldron.
That's not like that kind of magic in the DC universe, really.
Right.
But anyway,
yeah.
I'm sorry. You didn't say.
No. I was gonna just go off of that and like. We haven't seen a lot of the mystical shit in the Free Cities, unless you count the mystical shit that the House of Black and White does.
Yes, that's true.
But we did see the sorcerers, that's true.
And we saw that lady with the nose.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, your theory, and we presented this very briefly last week or a couple weeks ago, that Daenerys is the lady from back in time. Like, now that time travel's happening, it easily could be true. I think this is only added to the possibility of it.
That's fair. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that, the last question is time travel ? Now, they didn't put this on the show. I think Andy Greenwalker said, like, what happens next?
Yeah.
He's such a bad actor. And I know he's not an actor, but he's such a bad actor.
He's like a bad actor, the same way that, like, Saddam Hussein was a bad actor, you know, in Indonesia.
I feel like we kind of talked about this a lot at the beginning.
Yeah. I want to get a little, gripe out of here.
Sure.
I am tired of circular time travel. I'm 100% done with it. It's invaded everything I love. The Flash is now just all about circular time travel. X-Men, circular time travel, like Days of Future Past. And, like, I get that was a story back in the day, but I think that's the hot new thing right now, and I would love to stop, like... I think it makes predictable or dumb stories.
Days of Future Past is the opposite of circular time travel. They do change the past.
I mean, that's true, but then we end up... So I was thinking about this the other day. I liked every part of X-Men Days of Future Past, except for some of the Jennifer Lawrence-y stuff, and a lot of the scenes where nothing interesting happens in the middle. But I hated when we flash forward to 2020 or whatever, holographic alarms and Cyclops has dumb glasses. Because if that hadn't happened, we really would have reset the universe. But that just leveled the stakes again. Because there's one timeline that Shattercat is able to send people back.
Bryan Singer, fucking stop!
Like, I think he's good, but I don't like this. Every 10 years we get a new X-Men.
Well, apparently Apocalypse isn't so hot.
I know. Well, I read the guy I really like, Mr. Sunday, who does like reviews and stuff.
Oh, I like him.
He said it was good, and he was like, I don't know why everybody doesn't like this. I think their superhero fatigue is finally cutting in, and I also think movies where the world is destroyed just don't hit people anymore. Which we'll see if Independence Day is a huge dud, which I think it might be.
Which I think looks real bad.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that kind of leads that. I think that leads why X-Men Apocalypse couldn't have succeeded. Because I have heard the 3 parts I want to be good: the Wolverine, the Cyclops, and the Nightcrawler are all very good. And those are like 3 characters that I love. And I think they haven't done justice in the movies consistently. And yes, I'm talking about Wolverine because I think he's just super wishy-washy between movies. Sometimes they'll like nail him, and sometimes it'll be like a whiny bitch. Not that, that's not part of Wolverine's character, but I don't love it.
It's not a huge...
No, it's not. The whole being in love with Jean thing is not a 3-movie arc for him.
I know.
It's like, he's so honorable. He's all Japanese and shit. He wouldn't do that. I don't know.
Swords.
He's Canadian.
I know, but he's like, he's trained in Wolverine in Japan, whole storyline. That's where he learns the way samurai. He's like... I am a warrior now. I'm not a normal person. I don't know. That's just me. But I'm trying to circulate time travel. I hope Game of Thrones doesn't do it too poorly, but I think they probably will.
I agree. All right, so we're melting. We are going to say goodbye.
Have you thought about this as a way to kill the whites and White Walkers? Just put them in this room?
Yeah, maybe.
So wait,
have you guys heard the theory that the White Walkers represent global warming?
I have heard that theory, and I like it.
Hate that.
DJ, can you warg into the past and get the White Walkers to touch you? And then they will come here,
right,
and they'll be teleported here, just like Littlefinger. Wait, do you think that's how he got there?